Hey everybody, So Wookie here. In this video, we're going to go over the console version of the Pubg 9.1 patch notes. Now, if you watched the previous video last week, that went over the PC patch notes, a lot of it's going to be very similar, but there are a few unique things that are just for the console this time round. So I thought I'd make a separate video so people who don't necessarily check the patch notes themselves will be made aware of it. Hope you enjoyed this video and find the information useful. If you do, consider liking, subscribing to see more. So let's jump right in. So again, we're going to get a PTS on this one, which is pretty good. So the PTS for my time zone, which is the European one, is starting on October the 20th, 4 AM, and then that'll continue then up until the 29th when we get the update on the live servers. So I was unsure we were going to get the PTS, but I'm glad we are doing because we're going to be able to try it Paramo before it comes to the live servers, which will be nice. So please note they've only got the following modes open on NA. So they've got ranked solo, so they're trying out ranked solo, Paramo in the season match, and then normal matches in squads. Right, okay, cool. Then it just does the usual of what is the PTS, which is obvious at this point. Stadia aren't getting the PTS, not that I think it matters because there's not as much demand for it, I wouldn't have thought. And then finally we get the new map Paramo. So this image sums up a lot of what the map is. So you've got the volcano, the lava flow, helicopters are what bring you both to the map as well as the care packages, and which is pretty cool. You've got so it's been set up as a season match. So due to our new dynamic map location system, Paramo will provide as a seasonal match separate from the current matchmaking pool. Paramo's provided a season map exclusive for Season 9 only. So I'm wondering after Season 9 if it's just going to get put into the match pool for Season 10 or what. So it'd be stupid to have a map just for a season, all the development and stuff that's gone into it. So there's no bots in the season match. It won't count towards your career stats. This is a weird one because, I mean, if you're winning games, you still want to have the win. I mean, I do anyway. They don't have battle stat. They have the battle stat feature disabled as well. Now I'm wondering if that's because they're not having the career stats as in for kills and stuff, so they've had to disable that so the weapons aren't out of sync. Weird. It will now allow you to complete missions for the pass though. In the PC version of the patch notes, it stated that you couldn't complete missions for the pass, which was a weird decision because people are only going to play it for a day and then try and do the pass, which would be weird. FPP will not be supported in any or EU regions, so it's only third person. Paramo does not support separate brightness control. I mean that's never in the update that when a new map comes. It's always in the update afterwards. And then the match beginning time will be 120 seconds. So that's obviously to do with the loading. The maps are 3v3. It's 64 players. Third-person perspective squads only, and again another weird one. I suppose it's to cut down on the queues because if they had a solo duo and squad queue for Paramo, it's an extra 3 queues opposed to an extra 1. Yeah, I guess. New red zones. The blue zone, no red zone. Sorry, the blue zone shrinks slowly but deals a lot more damage. Okay, so it's just going to be a bit of a learning cycle, and motorbikes are the only type of vehicle. Okay. So it's got a new dynamic. So as you can see, it's coming in at the same area here. And in each one, the terrain and the village is completely different, which is a cool feature. And it just says players must adapt to the new map each time. There's lava flows. Now, I've watched a bit of the PTS on the PC, and you can walk across the lava flow, and it doesn't really do a great deal, to be honest. If anything, it needs tweaking to make it more like violently deadly because it's a bit silly at the minute, to be fair. I've not seen anyone ride a bike over, but I imagine it just pops the tires. You can go out of bounds on this map, but it will give you a message to tell you to get back in, otherwise you'll be killed. There's little crates that you can destroy to get loot out of them, which is a new feature. The care packages are brought in via a helicopter. Now, unlike the care packages from a plane, with this you can shoot at the helicopter and force it to drop the crate early. Kind of like the loot truck. You also get dropped into the match through helicopters as well. I think it's 3 different helicopter paths. Uh, so you've got a unique ghillie suit and also this unique camo suit as well, which are Highland themed and they're unique to Karakin, which is pretty good. You have a critical response kit, which basically means if you've got one of these in your inventory, you heal your teammate in 1 second, opposed to the usual 10. So that's going to be like a pretty cool one to have as well, because people that pushing you, if it's going to take them 10 seconds to get to you, then usually you would have time to get revived, and then you'd have to run to do your first aid kit while your mate covers you. Or say they down you in the 15 seconds out, you'd have time to revive and do a first aid kit. Whereas with this, you're just going to get revived immediately, do a first aid kit and probably a booster, and then you're basically good to go, like you've only been shot. So it's pretty good. It's going to be quite tactical. There's also Paramo keys. There's quite a few temples scattered around the map, and you use the key to get in, and there's loot in them, which is pretty cool. And there's no unique looting as of yet though, so I'm wondering in update 9.2 if they're going to add like a new weapon, or perhaps they'll put one of the crate weapons in there, because it seems silly to go to all the effort just to get like normal loot. And then finally they're adding solo ranked mode, which is going to be pretty awesome. I'm looking forward to jumping into that, because personally I can't always get my squad on to play ranked squads, so playing a bit of solo ranked is going to be fun. Obviously you have the usual ranks have been reset. You know, you do your 5 placement matches, etc. Leaderboards reset, etc., etc. So solo ranks, it's just telling you it's basically the same as squad ranks. They did say in the community corner episode thing that they might tweak these depending on how solo ranked goes, because obviously it's going to play slightly different. But we'll have to see in time. And then you've got your leaderboards, ranked rule set updates. So they've adjusted the Sandhawk Blue Zone. They've increased AR and DMR magazine spawns. Thank you, Jesus. Getting an assault rifle extended on bloody ranked was a nightmare, because there was that many guns in the spawn points. More scopes, more kited sights. Ooh. Decreased 2 and 3 times. Okay. Decreased handgun and SMG magazine spawns, because I mean whatever. And decreased handgun spawn along with ammo. So I mean that to be fair, you don't often see too many people rocking SMGs in ranked. I mean occasionally, but not very often at all. Esports vehicle spawn locations will now always spawn a vehicle. Okay, so you'll be able to learn where the vehicle spawns. That's pretty good. And the MG3 has been added to care packages on ranked maps as well. That wasn't in the PC patch notes either. I assume it's going to be done there. So I think they've made a couple of extra changes since the PC patch notes last week, which is cool. So they've done some regional matchmaker changes. It's not very interesting particularly. Right, so they've done some weapon balance updates. So the barrel and the SLR are getting a bit of a nerf this update. So on the barrel, it's getting nerfed in both damage and recoil across the board. And in the SLR, it's getting nerfed on damage and recoil for the ADS, and also the bullet velocity distance by 15%. So a lot of people using SLR as basically a bullet action sniper, because the bullet drop off for damage was like non-existent, whereas now that's going to curb that a little bit. We also get Survivor Pass Highlands. Now, Survivor Pass Highlands is a bit different to the normal Survivor Pass, whereas your normal Survivor Pass would be 3 months with 100 ranks. This one's 2 months with 50 ranks. So it should be a lot easier for people to do. It's 990 G coin. You can collect 1,000 G coin through the rewards, so that means you'll be able to buy the next pass for nothing. And then it just basically explains that. So missions are now automatically claimed upon completion. Okay, that's good. So you don't have to go in after every game making your boys wait, and you know, once a mission is complete, you'll see mission completed. Blah blah blah. Pass reward and XP visibility. Upon returning to the lobby, you will immediately see an animation of XP earned filling the Survivor Pass bar. Claimable rewards are animated and highlighted for better display, which rewards are ready to collect. Daily, weekly, and challenge missions can now be viewed in the lobby without having to dive into the pass page. There's all kinds of stuff really. So it's basically the same as normal, just shorter. So all weekly missions are available to everyone now, and then there's a specific premium tab for those that have bought the pass. So if you don't buy the pass at the beginning, you can like to see how far you can get first. You should be able to do a lot of it without buying it, and then if you think, oh, I've got far enough, let's buy it, then you can do that. Weekly missions are now grouped by difficulty, giving XP based on a challenge. Yeah, okay. And then again, this is more for the console. I don't think they have these on PC, but we have some different DLC packs as ways to get it. So the first one is the Highlands Advance Pack. Now, this one comes with a hoodie, so you get the tribal glyph hoodie, pants, winter hat, and boots. You get a 20 level boost and the pass itself. So I mean, if you tend to struggle finishing the passes and you don't get as much time to play, this might be a good one for you to get because you'll be about halfway through when you start, and you'll get a new outfit, which is pretty cool. There's the Highlands pack, which is basically just the tribal glyph stuff, the Survivor Pass Highlands, and 5 level boost. I mean, that one's only $15, so I mean, that one's really good value, actually. So this one, see, I don't think this one's that good anymore because the 20 level thing is like whatever. You get the same outfit on this one and you still get the pass, but you'll get a 5 level boost. And because it's only 50 ranks, I think it's going to be a lot easier to do it this time round. So I think this will be probably the one that I get, to be honest. So that's them. They're your two options, or you just buy it with G-Coin that you already have. I think this one's probably the best option for most people. Little 5 level booster, outfit, pass. They've also changed some of the custom match observer settings as well. So if I often participate in like the Facebook tournaments and stuff, and there's stuff that they can do, and it just makes it better because when they stream and stuff. They've added a lot more custom match settings, which is pretty good. Right, and then frame rate priority. So this is one we've been waiting for a while. So frame rate priority setting has had some changes. The frame rate is now lifted to 60 FPS. And then the screen resolution is set to 1080p. Now, previously, I believe that the frame rate priority was basically set to prioritize frame rate over resolution, but it put it at 1440p, not 1080. So they've lowered the resolution to get it up to 60 FPS. So it's going to be interesting to see how that affects spotting guys at distance and stuff. Hopefully not too much. But we'll have to see. And like it says, the new frame rate priority is available on the Xbox One X and the PlayStation 4 Pro. And then they basically say they're investigating ways to bring this to the other consoles as well. So what I'm imagining is going to happen with the Series X and the PS5 is that at the beginning it'll probably be 1440p at 60 FPS, and then over time they're probably just going to get the 4K 60 FPS, which will be good, but we'll have to see on that. They've changed the match standby time from 60 seconds to 90 seconds to basically there was a loading issue, so it's going to negate that. And as we read before, Paramo's on a 120 seconds anyway, so obviously there's a lot of assets on that one, so they've delayed it still. And that's just going to mean people who are loading in late, they're going to get in, they're going to have the same experience as everyone else. Character animation is preloaded to help with performance. Which would be good, so hopefully that helps out a lot of people too. They've changed some UI as well. They've added a new news page, which is pretty good, so you can check out stuff on there. They've added, just tweaked a couple of things. The store's way better than it used to be now anyway. They've changed the player in stats pie, so it's easier to detect if they're disconnected. And then the next major console feature is the custom key binding. So you can now set up basically your own preset. So I basically use controller type B, and I have done since type B was a thing, and I really like it, and I can't see myself ever changing. Now for me, I've got an Elite controller, so custom key binding doesn't really bother me because I've got the 4 paddles on the back. So if I want a specific button to do something that it doesn't normally do, then I can just use my paddles, which I use for the gas in the car. I use it for single fire to full auto button. And I also have the 2 leaning left over shoulder, leaning left and leaning right, for around the corners. And then that way I never have to take like my grip off my controller for the aiming and stuff. But for you guys that use a regular controller, this could be quite useful for you. If you never, for example, use soft aim, you might want to do that button to do something else, etc. So that's pretty cool actually. It's been a long requested feature by a lot of people, but it's good that we're finally getting it. They've added some, when you're changing your brightnesses, there's a little icon so you can see how bright it's going to be, which will display like this. And then if you have unique map brightness, there's an image of the map as well to give you an idea of how bright it's going to be. Now this is just a small tweak, but it's so good because it's like some maps you go in and it's bright as hell, some maps it's like low. Now what would be good is they could expand on this further and have it so set. Arengal's got normal daytime, it's got rainy, cloudy. It'd be good if you had a different brightness setting for each of the different weather types, because sometimes having it bright in the day, you know, it might be too bright, but then at the nighttime one, it might be not bright enough. So that's something where they could improve in the future. So hopefully they do that. Bot update. So basically, it's gone back to MMR. Well, it always was kind of MMR, but you were still basically guaranteed about 20% bots. Now, if the matchmaking pool is healthy enough and it can fill up with players, it will do. So you can get games with 0 bots. Now, this one's already implemented, I believe, because it's like I'm already having games without bots. Like I had a squad game on Sandhawk the other day. There was 97 players and no bots, which is weird because I don't know why it didn't just fill up the last 3 spots with bots. But what's probably happened is the game's loaded in and then 3 people quit out before the playing, so it didn't have time to add them in. If it was a 3-man squad or whatever, this is pretty cool. For me personally, I mean, I don't really mind the bots particularly because I mean even sometimes when there was 20 you don't see them. You always tended to see them on Karakin because it's a lot smaller map, but I mean I personally prefer playing against players, even in normal games, not necessarily even in ranks, because ranks are higher tempo of competitiveness. But obviously for those people with a lower MMR, they're going to probably get more bots than the 20 bots now in their games, and therefore hopefully it will help them get better, which is good, really. There's some new skin items. There's a couple of different baseball ones, and these are dogs, which is pretty cool. They've added a DLC, so there's the Pubg Gear Up pack. So, I mean, technically this is another option for getting the pass, actually. How much is this one? If it's cheaper than 15 quid, it's actually the best option. But you don't get the outfit, you get a backpack. So this one's $10. I think the other one was $15. This gives you a 1100 G coin, which is enough to buy the pass and have 100 left over. It gives you a 5-level booster, which is the same as the other one, and it gives you this this pink backpack. So I mean, for those of you who want to buy the pass as cheap as possible, this is probably going to be the cheapest way to do it. Which is cool. However, if you did want the outfit of both, then you know, well, I mean, you want the outfit then. PlayStation are getting this DLC for free for all PS Plus members. Really cool jacket. I don't think we have this on console. We've got jackets like this, but we definitely don't have the PUBG icon on there. The barrel, they're getting the battle stat skin, which is usually about 65,000 BP, and then there's a fire axe. And I can't remember if I've got the fire axe. I've got axes, but I don't think I've got the fire axe. That might be a unique item for them. And then there's an old plethora of bug fixes. And that's it. So that's all the PUBG console patch notes. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. And like I say, if you did, consider liking and subscribing to see more. Wookie out.